Good morning and welcome to the S. Truett Cathy Professional Learning Center. I am Dr. Gloria Duncan, the Executive Director of the Professional Learning Center. And whether in person or via live stream, we are so pleased that you are able to join us at the Superintendent's Community Town Hall meeting as we build a better tomorrow today. I would like to first of all introduce you to several of our people who have joined us today. Let me begin by introducing our deputy superintendents who are here in support of this occasion. Would you stand? Thank you so much. Also, I would like to introduce our board members who were able to join us. We realize that some of them are at a meeting and will not be able to be here in person, but may be watching us live stream. So we thank them. And by the way, you all may sit down. I'm sorry. Don't want to get too much exercise first thing in the morning. All right. Also, in addition to our board members, Mr. Christmas, did you stand and recognize Mr. Christmas? Okay. We would also like to recognize our officials and appointed leaders. If there are any present, please stand. All faith-based leaders, all business colleagues and community leaders. I guess the whole room should stand with that one. We want to thank you so much, whether you are an elected official or an appointed official, all of our staff members who have joined us today, in our cabinet, would you stand? Thank you so much for being here with us today, and we're so pleased to have you. Our parents and guardians, to all Clayton County parents and guardians who have entrusted your wonderful students to us. If you are watching us, we want to make sure we say that we appreciate you. We appreciate the wonderful job, and we are committed to making your students excellent scholars. Please be assured of that every day, and Dr. Smith's commitment is to that, and we thank him so much for that and all the years he's dedicated to that. Clayton County is so pleased to be able to present this today, and we want to move now to our board member, Mr. Mark Christmas, who will come and bring greetings at this time. And again, thank you and welcome.
Good morning. I hope you are having a great morning today. Amen. It is my task to introduce our superintendent. So good morning and welcome to this superintendent town hall meeting. It is my pleasure and personal privilege to introduce a man who has served the Clayton County Public Schools for over 30 years. Dr. Anthony Smith was appointed about 2.5 months ago to the Board of this Board of Education, using his decades of proven experience in education and to serve all stakeholders of Clayton County and communities. But in the words of gospel artist Luther Barnes, you've been faithful, you've been true, to Clayton County Public Schools and for your faithfulness. It's your time. It's your time to build a safer school for our scholars. It's your time to increase their academic achievements. It's your time to collaborate with the community. It's your time to build state-of-the-art schools. It is your time to build better athletic programs and facilities. It's your time to improve the culture and the climate of CCPS. I am proud of Dr. Smith and all that he has done and planned for his new role as a superintendent to build a better tomorrow today for this school district and its 74,000 plus employees and its diverse population. Without any further delay, let me formally welcome some and introduce to others our dynamic leader, Dr. Anthony Wayne Smith, to share with his stakeholders his plans and priorities for the sixth largest school district in the state of Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Christmas. Good morning, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Great, great. Taking my glasses on and off. That kind of happens when you turn 60. But anyway, good morning and welcome to the Superintendent's Community Town Hall meeting. It is a pleasure and personal privilege to read Mr. Christmas speech. You should have took that with you, Mr. Christmas. You set me up. But before I get started, I want to formally introduce my deputies. To my left is Dr. Douglas Hendricks. He's the Senior Deputy Chief of Staff. Dr. Delphia Young is the Deputy Superintendent for Teaching and Learning. Dr. Ralph Simpson is the Deputy Superintendent for Administrative Services. Dr. April is the Deputy Superintendent for Student Support Services. I want to thank the Board of Education member, Mr. Mark Christmas, for that wonderful introduction, and welcome to the Clayton County stakeholders and all partners in education to my first official Community Town Hall meeting as your Interim Superintendent of Schools. Your presence here today, and for those of you who are viewing, and I know a lot of people who shared with us and many of my colleagues that they will be viewing live stream. We want to thank you for that because we know everybody is busy and this is a work day, and we understand that many people could not be physically here with us today, but they're tuning in, and we want to thank them for that. I'm extremely excited about my appointment last semester to this prestigious leadership position. I am so appreciative to the Board of Education for their confidence in my ability to lead the school system and to provide oversight to those who do the amazing work that is accomplished across the school district every day. We are all committed to building and maintaining a better tomorrow today through the continuation of hard work that will establish Clayton County Public Schools as a district of excellence throughout the metro area and beyond. And working with members of my administrative team and I've established 5 priorities to streamline our efforts going forward to serve as a compass that will guide and govern our work and continued success. It should be noted that these priorities effectively respond to questions, comments, and concerns that we've received from a variety of stakeholders since the start of my tenure as your interim superintendent. I'd like to take the time, take this opportunity to introduce our blueprint that includes plans, priorities, and processes that we believe will promote improved outcomes and scholastic achievement for the school system. We will start by sharing our district's theme, building a better tomorrow today, and the meaning of the mantra. First of all, there's an urgency here in Clayton County. We've had some struggles for a while. Folks know about it throughout this community and throughout the metro Atlanta area. The urgency is now. That's why the mantra speaks to building a better tomorrow today. Today, the work begins today. Now, let me begin talking about some of the things that we've crafted out for our professional staff. It should be noted that we've crafted what we call professional agreements with our senior leadership, key members of our staff. Contracts were issued to all school site personnel on February the 24th, last Friday. All people working in the trenches at the school sites received the contract. Principals, assistant principals, teachers, counselors, you name it, they got a contract. But we elected to withhold the contracts of our central office leadership professional staff, not to create anxiety, but to merely ask them to reflect and bring to the school system a deeper commitment to the work, a deeper commitment that speaks above and beyond what they've done thus far. And y'all know me, I'm fairly, transparent and a little blunt. And the fact of the matter is that we've struggled for a while, and we know that this community, this school system can do better. And I believe in employing all the strengths and knowledge and history about this community to ensuring that we do just that. So to take the bold move to withhold those contracts and simply ask our staff to craft out measurable goals that can ensure that we get a greater degree of return on their efforts within their departments. That's what we're doing. All of our senior leadership has embraced that request, and then they're reflecting, and they're doing just that. And as a result of that, I think we would have pushed on our employees, pushed on our senior leaders that's over these phenomenal departments to dig down and bring a little bit more to this community. That's what we're doing. So within that, we created what we call professional agreements. Own your work is one of the biggest tenets of the professional agreements. Own your work. If you were the deputy superintendent for teaching and learning, own that work. Own the results. Own the shortcomings. Deputy Superintendent for Students Administrative Services, Dr. Simpson, whom I've been knowing for many, many years over my 30-year career. We grew up in Southwest Atlanta together, and we, became teachers and assistant principals and principals. We all kind of made the journey together, and I believe in him. And he is going to reflect and bring back greater results within our administrative department. Dr. April Madden, who been with Clayton County for many years, and most recently served in a similar capacity in Henry County. We're glad to welcome her back to Clayton County as Deputy Superintendent of Student Support Services. Let's give her a round of applause for coming back to Clayton, coming on back home. And my good friend, Dr. Douglas Hendricks, whom I've been a part of the school system for well over 20 years. And I've known him, and we've served in numerous roles together coming up. And I have great confidence in him. That's why I asked the board if they would allow an appointment of him being our senior deputy chief of staff. He's helping me do this work, and I believe in him and his talents and his knowledge and his commitment to the school system. And I couldn't ask for a better man serving beside me, Dr. Hendricks. Now, on these professional agreements, we want people to be the model. Be the model for your departments. Come to work on time. Be punctual. Identify and be clear about challenges. Be transparent. We can't resolve problems if we're not transparent about the challenges. Respect the value of team. Treat those you supervise well. The old golden rule that my mom and my grandparents instilled in me. Treat others like you want to be treated. I distinctly remember when I first became a teacher, my mother sat me down and shared some wisdom with me. And one of the things that that always stuck with me when I was dealing with a challenging situation with a student, my mom always said, and I can hear it ringing in my ears now, that's somebody's child that is loved. And you need to know that when you deal with that child. regardless of how frustrating they may make you based on their behavior, that is somebody's child. And I ask the staff to reflect in a frustrating moment when they're dealing with a child. That's somebody's child. Just like your children could be in front of a teacher in a setting, and that's your child. And I know the people in this room want their children to be treated with dignity and respect. All parents do. And we want to make certain that our staff remembers that. Image management is counterproductive to organizational improvement. That simply means it's not about you. It's about the team, it's about the system, and most importantly, it's about our families and this community. Be able to hear voices other than your own. Be able to accept advice, criticism even. And that will make us a stronger and a more vital team to, moving forward in this work. Now, we have 5 priorities that we crafted. 5 priorities that we're going to discuss. The first and foremost in our priorities, some would think that it should be academic achievement, and certainly that's our core work, teaching and learning. But first and foremost, we need to have a safe environment and a great culture for our students, for our staff, for leadership, for the community overall. If that doesn't happen, none of the other priorities matter. So naturally, we all agree that our first priority should be safety and school culture. Coming in on a close second, increase academic achievement. That's why we brought this wonderful, brilliant lady out of retirement to help us with that task, along with the many talented people that she has within her department. Third, financial stability and sustainability. We got to pay the bills, y'all. We got to pay the bills. We don't need the anxiety about our financial status, and we got great financial minds within our business service department that is doing just that, working closely with the board to make certain that we build a phenomenal budget and be able to accomplish all of our goals, which is numerous when you witness the presentation when I move through. Organizational structure for success. We want to move people around to make certain that they're successful in their roles. We want to align the work to ensure that we get the greatest results. If you got an abundance of high school experience, we're going to ensure that your experience line up with high school work. Same thing if you got an abundance of middle school or elementary level school experience. We want to make certain that your level of expertise line up with the work for greater opportunity for success. So we're moving some things around a little bit to ensure that we get that organizational structure for success. Infrastructure, facility improvement. We're going to talk a lot about that today. Because of the timing of this town hall meeting, the timing of my appointment, the fact that we got the splost referendum right around the corner in 2 weeks from today, that we're going to be encouraging our community to affirm, and we'll be informing them about why we think they should affirm. We can't tell you how to vote. We certainly can inform you about what's at stake. And I plan on doing a thorough job of that today. Let's talk a little bit about safety and school culture. Been in this system for over 30 years. Served in numerous roles. Every ladder, every rung on the ladder, from coaching, teaching, middle school assistant principal, high school assistant principal, middle school principal, high school principal, assistant superintendent for middle schools, assistant superintendent for K-12 schools, chief academic officer, deputy superintendent with numerous roles, and now the interim superintendent. Every rung on the ladder within the school system, I have the great fortune of saying that I have experienced at those levels. That I bring to this role as the interim superintendent makes me uniquely qualified to get some things done. Been around, done it all. And I plan on cashing in on my level of experience and ensuring that families benefit. Not about me. Now, let me talk a little bit about safety. I'm going to be a tough love superintendent. We're going to bring back tough love, y'all. Now, I want to put more emphasis on the love part than the tough part. And we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But we're going to be tough on our students. The mitigation with bad behavior with students now will be a shared responsibility of the school system and parents. It has to be. These are troubled times that we live in now. Clayton County has had numerous struggles, particularly within the school system. We got to look at things a little differently. We know that there's struggles out there. We know that we're post-pandemic. We know that there's some economically challenging circumstances for families. We know that there's mental health crises going on. We're aware of all of those things, and we're going to attack and address those things. But we're going to be tough on our students in terms of their behavior. Because teaching and learning is at the core of what we do. We're not a social services organization, although we employ many services associated with social services professions. But we're about teaching and learning, and we have to preserve those classrooms and ensure that there's as few disruptions as possible. I like the phrase my friend and colleague coined, Dr. Keith Colbert, who's in the audience with us, serving in the role of Chief Officer for Student Support Services. He always talked about schools being a sanctuary for learning. A sanctuary for learning. And when you've had the struggles that we've had all of these years and the challenges that we're experiencing right now, a sanctuary for learning is just what the doctor ordered. In order for our kids to be able to sustain a wonderful environment, in order for them to get a good education so they can go out and compete in this world. This world is very competitive. And we want to make certain that we equip our students with the skills necessary, not only to compete, but win. Win, y'all. So we know that 90+% of our students and our parents, they come to school prepared to do the work, prepared, can you hear me? Prepared to immerse themselves in their assignments in order to give them an opportunity to compete with the kids they're going to be competing with, graduated from the schools over in other metro Atlanta school districts and other school districts across the state and across the country. Across the country. So we're going to preserve those environments for those students, but we're not going to throw away any child. I want you to hear me, and I want you to hear me clearly on that. Just because we are going to be tough, just because we're going to impact the socialization of a child during the school day with getting their education, does not mean we're going to ignore them. We're going to provide all kinds of services and supports in order for those students to make the necessary adjustments to be able to enter back into a regular classroom environment, because that's where we want them. That's where we want them. And we'll be talking about some of those things here in just a second. Now, tougher world we live in, weapons, gangs, violence, drugs, those are no-brainers for us. Those are no-brainers for this administration. You will find yourself dealing with significant consequences, to include possible exposure. I want parents out there that's hearing this message to fully understand, speak with your child, about the direction that Clayton County is going in and about what they need to do in the event that they're engaging in the behavior that I just described, to speak with people, speak with counselors, speak with administrators, come to someone now and let them know you're having some challenges. The environment that I'm participating in might bring about some significant disruptions in my life based on what that old new interim superintendent has shared with the community, and they will be right. So I'm asking parents, speak with your children, check their book bags, check what they are doing online and who they're hanging out with, to make certain that they don't engage in the behavior that I just described that will perhaps put them in a situation where they find possible expulsion. Now, aside from that, the little annoying behavior that the teachers have to experience every day with children, it's just absolutely unbearable. Teachers are tired, y'all. Parents out there need to know, the staff out there needs to know that we hear you. The school site employees, we hear you. We know it's been challenging. We know that things have been tough. The behavior, students dealing with a post-pandemic situation. No one has experienced that in decades in this country. But our teachers and our students and our families, we're resilient, and we continue to make progress toward finding ourselves beyond the pandemic. But let me just talk about some of the programs that we're implementing effective this month, not next year, this month. I'll start with elementary schools. We're implementing what we call an opportunity room, similar to some folks call it in-school suspension, but we're providing more services, and we're going to make certain that it's not punitive, but it gives a student an opportunity to reflect on their behavior without disrupting the other 90% of the students in the classroom. We can't allow that anymore. We got to figure out, how could we deal with this child that's being very disrupted, not giving our other students any opportunity to learn so they can compete? What can we do with them in order to ensure that they continue their education, we continue to provide instructions, we continue to provide supports in order to mitigate their behavior? And if I could, I would like to ask a couple of my colleagues to come up and share a little bit about the plan for the opportunity room for elementary school age kids. Ms. Sharman Johnson and Dr. Ebony Lee have both crafted out this plan in conjunction, y'all, with teachers, with students, with counselors, with behavior specialists, even legal. We're trying to make certain that as we craft out a plan, that it, first of all, can provide results, and it's inclusive of everybody's input. So if I could bring these two wonderful professionals up to the stage to just talk briefly about the elementary opportunity room. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Good morning, everyone. We are proud and honored to be able to share more information around the Opportunity Room. As Dr. Smith stated, Ms. Sharman Johnson, our newly appointed Chief Academic Officer for Elementary, she and I have led a dynamic team to really think about how we can give our students an opportunity to grow. But we started off defining discipline, led by Dr. Hendricks in that pursuit. How do we define discipline? And essentially, it is the practice of teaching and training people to follow the rules or code of conduct using strategies to address the inappropriate behavior. And at the elementary level, that's the prime time to teach and train and equip our students with the strategies they need to replace the misbehavior with the new behavior. They're just trying to figure it out, and they shouldn't have to figure it out alone, especially when we have all of these supports in place. So the Opportunity Room will afford our students the opportunity to be temporarily removed from the classroom and placed into another location, so they'll be desocialized, but more so that we can get to the root cause of what's prompting the inappropriate behavior or the inappropriate language or response. So the goal is when they go into the opportunity room, they return better with the strategy that they're going to use to address the issue and to communicate. And so at this time, Ms. Johnson will give more information around the process for the opportunity room. And this is for all elementary schools. Ms. Johnson.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. All right, so as Dr. Lee stated, we are currently piloting the Opportunity Room, and we are piloting the Opportunity Room in 5 of our elementary schools. We have Anderson, Hawthorne, Marshall, Riverdale, and Smith Elementary School. And we're piloting the program because we want to get feedback from those schools so that when we implement it school-wide, which will be March the 20th, we'll have feedback from them so that we can implement it effectively through all of our schools. Also, the start date, again, is March the 20th. We have trained all of our principals, assistant principals, as well as our school engagement specialists. And from March the 17th or the 23rd, the March 10th through the 17th, we will train all of our elementary teachers so that everybody has all of the information at the same time. When students are in the opportunity room, we're going to provide them with a curriculum that addresses their academic, behavioral, and emotional needs, and students will also be provided with wraparound supports. We're also going to send a letter home to all of our parents so that we can engage them as well, and we want all of our parents to review the student of conduct with your students so that they know how they can get in the room and how they can remain outside of the room. Also, we want you to keep an eye on your students and see how they're feeling academically as well as emotionally, and then also use the resources that we're providing through the school district. Now we're going to hear from Dr. Colbert. He is in charge of the secondary discipline, and he will provide the information to you regarding their new process, which is the YES program.
As Dr. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning. Morning. As Dr. Smith has indicated in his initial presentation about the love part, he started off with the tough part, but we also wanted to be able to provide strategies and support for our students. Oftentimes, discipline can be seen as an opportunity to remove, but we're viewing discipline as an opportunity to provide services, an opportunity to provide supports. We want to be proactive. The YES program simply means Youth Empowerment Services, and I'll focus on the word empowerment. We want to be able to empower our students to be able to make productive decisions and to be able to productively handle conflict resolution. This YES program was driven by data. We realized that a great number of our students have been involved in physical altercations. So we have to provide our students with support, strategies, and skills to be able to overcome those barriers to learning. If you're being disruptive, that's a barrier to teaching and learning. So we want to be able to adequately approach and remove those barriers for our students. So the YES program was designed to address behavior challenges that continually disrupt the learning environment. We have those infractions that our students violate, our code of conduct that they violate, that land them in alternative school. But we start to realize that a lot of our students that go into the alternative school, and we start to look at college and/or career ready, those students continue to struggle. So the YES program was created out of that to be able to provide proactive strategies to be able to successfully assist that student in being able to reintegrate back into the traditional environment. The YES program is a non-traditional setting to where we will, with the collaboration of parents, will be able to allow these students to go into a non-traditional setting temporarily so that we could provide those prescriptions. And I strongly take and state those prescriptions to be able to help that student to be able to reintegrate successfully back into the traditional environment. How will we do that? We will partner with community members, juvenile court, all community entities to be able to help. These students will get a block or 3 blocks of academic instruction. And then we're going to design what we call an intervention block, to where we will bring partnerships throughout the community to be able to provide support to those students. It may be a mentorship. It may be an apprenticeship. It may be mental health and wellness provider. You name it, we are calling on our community to really partner with us to be able to really provide these support services to our students that will be a part of the YES program. So we're looking forward to really partnering with the community. We have already started to implement this program as of Monday, March the 6th. We're working with schools to identify those students, because if we don't identify them early on, chances are they're going to commit or violate one of our code of conduct that will land those students in our alternative school. So the YES program, to sum this up, is a program that's designed to be preventive, not reactive. Oftentimes with discipline, we react to discipline. We know something is going to happen, but this YES program now puts us on the side of preventing those things from happening. So we look forward to coming back before you, providing results as we continue to build and develop this YES program.
Thank you, Dr. Colbert. Get a mic to her. Dr. Colbert shared with you many supports that will be provided for our secondary students, middle and high school students. Now, Dr. Lee and Ms. Johnson talked about removing students out of when their behaviors of such and warranted to be placed in the opportunity room. And the program Dr. Colbert talked about was middle school and high school students who disrupt classrooms constantly. One thing that we got good at, y'all, during the pandemic was virtual education. Those students will find themselves virtual. I want parents to hear me. Let me mention that one more time. If your student constantly disrupts, walk in the halls, disrespect to staff, constantly disworking their fellow students from being able to obtain a phenomenal education, those kids will be removed and they will place in a virtual educational setting. And they'll go through the programs that Dr. Colbert just spoke about until their behavior speaks to being able to coexist in a regular school environment. We're going to have to do those things. Remember at the beginning, I talked about the mitigation with bad behavior will be a shared responsibility between the school system and parents. We all got to step up. All of us, my team, board members, staff, teachers, and parents, and community members, ministers, social services people, law enforcement, judicial, everybody associated with Clayton County, with whatever entity you belong, we got to step up. The school system is the backbone of any community. And we take that role very seriously here at Clayton County Public Schools. So we're making the bold moves to do what's necessary in order to make certain that we sustain a safe school environment and a great culture for our staff, students, and employees. Now, let me just talk a little bit extra about the love part. The common theme with folks all over the country in terms of juvenile behavior is they have to be involved in something. We gotta get our kids. I was a kid growing up in Southwest Atlanta. Didn't have the best behavior. I was involved in something. My brothers, we were involved in something. Many of my friends now that went on to become somebody, they were involved in something. We all agree. That's the key. That's the key. That's the common theme. So what we're doing, we're investing here in Clayton County in some unique programs in order to ensure that we have as many kids as possible involved in something. Now, we've implemented this year going on, started last week, elementary basketball, right? For our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. Elementary basketball. They play at the middle school gym, so they feel a sense of I'm important. I play at this school with bigger kids, and they like and really get excited about that. The season started last week. The athletic director, Mr. Gary Townsend, shared with me, it's a sellout. We got parking problems with our elementary basketball games, y'all. So many parents participating, supporting their children. Right here in Clayton County, first that I know of in the metro area, if not state. Elementary, a full-fledged system with a regular season, a playoff season, a championship, beautiful cheerleaders, the whole program, y'all. I would encourage parents and community members, go see one of those elementary basketball games. They're played at Kendrick, Morrow Middle, North Clayton Middle, and Eddie White Academy, and the times are 4:45, 5:45, and 6:45. There's a link that you can go on and get further information about our elementary basketball program. Also, for our 4th and 5th graders, we're creating a competitive soccer league. For our 2nd and 3rd graders, we're creating a development league for those students. For our 4th and 5th graders, we're also creating a track program. We're also creating an opportunity for a bowling league and a gymnastics program for our 2nd and 3rd graders. My daughter would be very happy to hear about that. She's a professional gymnast, and that's her life, and she loves that stuff. And just to see those smiling faces on those young kids when they're participating and competing, it's just a great feeling. As a result of that, I just want to share, we now have the opportunity to give at the elementary basketball program 354 more kids something to participate in that's positive, that otherwise didn't exist. Cheerleaders at the elementary level. We now give 426 cheerleaders something to be involved in. Track and field, elementary. We now give 1,400 kids spread across 37 elementary schools something positive to participate in. 7th grade, basketball for boys. We're reinstituting that. That gives an additional 192 young 7th grade boys something to participate in. Elementary flag football. We now give 525 kids something positive to participate in. 7th grade girls basketball. We now give 192 young ladies something positive to participate in that we otherwise didn't have. Middle school soccer. We now give 240 students something positive to participate in. That's a total of 3,329 slots for students, boys and girls, at the elementary and 7th grade level, middle grade level, something positive to participate in. That Clayton County Public Schools, that's fine, that's right, give it up. We're funding these programs, we're investing. We didn't get nothing from the state, nothing from the federal government. Say, hey, here's some money, go do something with your kids. The Board of Education has allowed for us to utilize these resources in order to create these phenomenal programs for our children. This is a part of the love, y'all. This is a part of the love. We taught way more about love than we have taught. tough. It's about the love. And at the same time, preserving the sanctity of the classrooms. Now, our next priority, this is absolutely crucially important. This is what we are here for. This is what folks went to school for. This is what school systems design budgets for. This is what taxpayers pay money and their taxes on. Academic success. And we take that very seriously here in Clayton County. And under our new leadership of Dr. Young and the Teaching and Learning Division, at the elementary and secondary levels, we're looking to hire, train, and retain highly qualified teachers. And you'll hear a lot more in the coming days about what Clayton County is going to be poised to do for our staff to retain, hire, and attract the best talent that we can find here in the metro area. We require teachers now who enter the teaching profession in non-traditional ways to complete a series of pedagogy and content courses led by our professional learning director, executive director, Dr. Gloria Duncan, longtime friend of mine, who's been invested in this community for well over 30 years. Provide targeted training to teachers based on needs instead of one size fit all. We're going to assess to determine what you need to be a better teacher. Use of data to determine effectiveness of resources and practices. Streamline student testing and use results more effectively. I hope the teachers hear that out there that's listening. Streamlining testing. This wonderful lady already has eliminated unnecessary testing. Eliminated it. Gone, out of here. Retrain academic coaches and lead teachers to ensure that they better support instructional advantages. Teach students how to be learners and to increase their self-efficacy. Train school administrators to be both operational and instructional leaders. We're doing all of that stuff. We're creating that framework. We're training the teachers. We're getting buy-in. And again, our whole philosophy, when we put programs and push them out, we would have had the opportunity to hear from teachers, parapros, special needs students, administrators, parents, you name it. We're all inclusive with making decisions in this school system. That was the first thing I charged our team to do. When you want to do something, when you want to create something, you make certain, at least I want to hear about teachers. What does the teachers have to say about it? What's their opinion? Do they embrace it? Do they accept it? Now, financial stability. We got to be able to pay the bills, and we can't have our community having anxiety about whether or not the school system is financially sustainable. We got a great business services department that is doing just that, creating and maintaining a balanced budget, stay current with economic information at the local, state, and federal levels, implement a zero-based model, create strategies 3 to 5 years out, minimize unnecessary administrative costs, operate with transparency and accountability, review cost containment strategies, examine support services, access innovative and cost savings solutions. That's our third priority. Organizational structure for success. Review and amend our organizational chart. The board was gracious enough to approve my chart that spoke to an investment in academic achievement. They allowed for the organizational chart to support the beefing up of our academic programming. More streamlined, deliberate focus on those classrooms, right, Dr. Young? Put leaders in position that maximize their experience and training. I talked about that alignment based on your expertise and background. Infuse school leadership experiences throughout divisional departments within the district. Ensure support staff are in schools assisting teachers and school personnel. We got an army of people, principals and administrators. If you don't like a bunch of central office folks on your campus, you're going to be a little bit uncomfortable because our central office folks have been employed to go out and support the troops in the schools, not sitting up there with us planning. We do that, but we execute in real time with the people out in the trenches, the teachers. In personnel action practices counterproductive to student success. A lot of stuff that we do, overlapping, duplication, we're getting rid of all that stuff. The board was gracious enough to allow for me to provide funding in order to bring in what I consider to be experts in the field, 2 former superintendents, to do deep dives and audits of every department we have within this county school system. Audits of every department. Now, in tow with those 2 very experienced, dynamic, professional, knowledge former superintendents, in tow is a teacher advocate, to be able to bounce off some of the solutions that they bear out in these audits that will make us more efficient and effective. How does this pertain from the perspective of a teacher? Does this make sense in the terms of a teacher? Will this allow for the teacher to be more effective within their role as a classroom teacher? Everything that we do is about teachers. The second thing that we're doing this for is teachers. The 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and on through infinity that we do is about what, y'all? Teachers. Everything that we do moving forward, we're about making it more efficient for our teacher staff. Those are our lifesavers, y'all. We got to give it up for our teachers out here in Clayton County Public Schools. We're doing this work for you so you can stay with us, so you continue to be a part of this dynamic community. Now, one of the last things in terms of my priority, which is going to require just a little time, so y'all bear with me, because, you know, I've been talking about for the longest that Clayton County Public Schools have not kept pace with the surrounding school systems in the metro area relative to our infrastructure. We're a little old. We have schools that was built in the 70s and in the 60s. Our average school is 50 years old. Our students and our families deserve better. And we're going to give it to them, provided that we get the community to affirm the splost referendum in 2 weeks from today. Let's talk a little bit about that. All right. Now, y'all know about splost. splost is that penny sales tax that we collect, and it's been in place for 30 years. Every 5 years, the community, you go back and you ask the community to approve the penny sales tax continuation. I can't express that enough, community. The continuation of the penny sales tax, not an additional penny, the continuation. Everything that you're getting ready to see now has no bearing on my homeowners in this county, none whatsoever. It will be a shared responsibility between the community members and the passerbys who buy goods and services here in Clayton County and pay taxes. That's how we're going to pay for this stuff. Let's chat a little bit about it. Now, if you can see on the slide, this year, unlike years past, for the most recent splosses, we've only asked for $280 million. This time we're asking for $350 million. The trends over the past year or so have spoken to us being able to increase that to $350 million so we can get more stuff. This is how you pay for capital improvements in the school system. The federal government don't come in and build all this stuff for you. The state has a minimum role. It's the local taxpayers, the ones who really provide the bulk of the funding for this stuff. And that's what we're going to do, because if you ask for a higher amount, and you fall a little short, it's not the end of the world. You just didn't collect all you say you wanted or desired to collect because of whatever reasons, recession, anything. But we feel confident with the great work of this county. Now, I got to give it up for our county commission officers and the various municipalities and the things that they're doing to improve this community and the increase in home values and all of that contributes to us getting more money in our coffers in order to be able to provide a quality school system. So they are certainly doing their part too. I want to make certain I mention that publicly. All right. But if we fail, if we ask for a small amount and overshoot it, then we're limited to what we can do to spend that money on. So we don't want to find ourselves in that situation. That's why we're asking for $350 million this time around. Now, let me be clear. We are not going to build junk here in Clayton County at all. Everything will be of quality. Case in point, this is out of splost 6 that we're currently in. This is the new Michelle Obama STEM school down in the Panhandle area. We spent about $40 million on the school, and it is state of the art. Next slide. This is the new Morrow High School. I don't know if anybody in this room have gotten the opportunity or people that are listening via live stream. I would ask you to go and take a look at that campus. Oh my God, it is something of beauty. Look at this, people in the audience. A beautiful turf stadium, turf practice fields, a tennis center, a beautiful design academic wing, a state-of-the-art athletic facility that has 2 gymnasiums. And within that school also is one of the most unique aviation program that you will find in this country. Those students have the privilege of having 17 flight simulators to train for their pilot's license moving forward. Right here in Clayton County, one of the top-notch aviation programs in the country. Next slide. Forest Park Middle School, 70+ years old. I had the great privilege of sharing a presentation this past weekend, and in the audience was a former principal from the Forest Park Middle School, and he was just absolutely beside himself with what we're going to do with that school. Mr. Joseph over here, who's our Chief Capital Improvement Officer, who's also a Jonesboro graduate, committed to this community, invested in this community, and has served in this role for a few years, but has crafted out such a phenomenal program because he knows what this community needs. He knows what we've been longing for. And as a result, he's delivering for us, y'all. Tee up the video so they can see this fine school that the Forest Park community is getting ready to have. Coming to a Forest Park community soon. That's what those students are going to have. Also, We desire to be a system that is innovative, cutting edge, and just really doing some unique things that goes against the grain of most public school systems. We want to be groundbreaking. That's the word we use among staff, groundbreaking. We ask our department heads, do something groundbreaking. Do something unique. So what we've done, y'all know that we've been going down to a lot of venues downtown, out in College Park, having our convocations, graduation programs for our students, spending a lot of money. So the board pushed on us to create a situation in which we don't have to spend so much and create something for our own, actually. There's been a desire for many public officials, business leaders in this community to have something special like an arena right here in Clayton County. Well, with the great minds of the folks in the school system, in partnership with Clayton County government, we got such a thing coming, y'all. A beautiful arena right here in Clayton County. We bought the old Sears building at South Lake Mall, and we're converting it into an 8,000 plus seat arena that can have a 10,000 plus concert experience. Now, of course, the primary purpose for building this was to house our graduation programs for our wonderful students. But we thought, why not enterprise it? We've done an impact study, a feasibility study that has bared out that this thing right here called the Clayton County Convocation Center is going to do phenomenal things, not just for the community of Morrow, but all of Clayton County and actually the region. The region. It is a sweet spot to have an entertainment event center. We're right off of 75. You got great access. The ingress and egress is about the best you can have in a metro Atlanta area community. 3 lanes come off 75, coming into a big old open mall area, which makes for a better entertainment experience based on what the experts has bared out in their studies. Clayton County has now an opportunity to bring in millions of dollars for extra programming that has no impact on our general funds. And we've come up with some programs that we thought could be beneficial to our staff, students, and the community. And we'll talk about those at another time. But I want y'all to understand that this is coming right here in Clayton. And you know the old saying, if you build it, they'll come. As a result, of course, we're going to put a college and career academy there. Junior achievement. Everybody know what junior achievement is? Junior achievement is a phenomenal program that gives school-age kids an experience, a field trip experience, to go and run a city. Elementary level students, middle and high. We have one in the metro Atlanta area at the Georgia World Congress Center that serves the metro Atlanta area, and the junior achievement people have been desiring to have a similar program on the south side for many years. Well, because the Clayton County Board of Education and this community have allowed for us to build such a thing that is now going to have right beside it a junior achievement center, y'all, right here in Clayton County. Right here in Clayton County. Tesla is coming to Clayton County. Tesla is going to put 40 plus charging stations right on our property for the passerbys off of 75 and around the community to come in, stop, charge a vehicle, buy some food, take in a movie, do something, spend some money, leave some taxes right here, sales taxes right here in Clayton for the benefit of us getting all this stuff. Tesla's coming, y'all. Boys and Girls Club. Y'all know we've been talking about kids need to be involved in something. We all know that that's the theme across the country. We are fortunate enough to have our commissioners build a Boys and Girls Club over on Flint River Road to cover a portion of the county. Now we got one over here in the Morrow area for our students to have the benefit of accessing on this side. Boys and Girls Club are coming, y'all, right here, Clayton County. We're in this thing for about 85 million, the county government for 10 million. We're the absolute majority owners. And this stuff right here, y'all, come to Clayton. I want you to see a little snippet about the beauty of this new design and this new facility. Mr. Joseph. This is the old building, the old Sears building. This is what it looks like in its current form. This is what it's going to look like in about 18 months. Beautiful. Right here in Clayton. It lights up to whatever theme is going on, whether it's a school or an event that can capture the essence of the color of the organization. This is the bowl that will house a seat 8,000 plus for graduation programs, sporting events, concerts, gaming events. We will also have 9 executive suites for multi-purpose. We can rent them out, doctor's offices, lawyers' offices, small businesses. This is the main concourse. This is the upper concourse. You can have a bar experience and still see the entertainment. That's important to a lot of people. Conference space. We got a conference center on site, y'all, right here in that arena. Folks can rent the place out to have conferences. It's easy to get to. Rooftop terrace overlooking the Atlanta skyline for dining, entertainment, socialization. Right here in Clayton County, y'all. Right here in Clayton. A lawn for concerts, family reunions, proms, you name it, small concerts. All of that right here in Clayton County at the new convocation center that we will begin to start building on, because this is out of splost 6 starting in April. This is not a long-term plan, y'all. Starting in April. Right here in Clayton County, y'all, our very own. Our very own. Now, let me talk a little bit about the schools. Now, we're not just building, if you saw the first slide, that you know over the period of time, we're asking for a lot of money. We're asking for bonds, with $440 million of bond up front. So if the community affirms this on the 21st of March, we get bond dollars in as soon as May. We start tearing down stuff and building May and June. This is not a long-term plan, y'all. This is not a long-term plan. But there are 3 focuses that are driving this big build-out. Early education, early learning, STEM education. Will be reckless if we did not provide our kids to compete in a tech-savvy world. And athletics. Yes, athletics as well. Athletics is important to any community. Athletics is embedded into the culture of the United States, and I would venture to say across the globe, all the way back to the Roman days. Athletics have meant something. It's right up there with business and science. Athletics is important. So for us to not properly prepare or have our kids be involved in environments that speaks to quality, it's reckless on our behalf. So we're going to make a commitment to athletics. So early learning, STEM education, and athletics. Now we're going to have 6 early learning centers built for our pre-K students. We heard a lot about universal pre-K. Everybody across the country knows the struggles and the importance of impacting the child at those foundation years and ensuring that they're prepared once they don the doors of the kindergarten classes. And we struggle with that a little bit here in Clayton. We have 3,000 kindergarten students, but we only have 1,100 pre-K students enrolled in our programs. Now, some are being served by private pre-K, and we appreciate them, but most are not. Most of them are at home. And we get those kids when they become kindergartners, and they're not properly prepared. Their social skills, word recognition, speech, sounds, all of that. So we want to make certain that we fill that gap by creating our own. And you know how we're going to fund it? With the proceeds that we get from that convocation center that does not impact our general fund. We can do that on our own. We don't, well, I always need the federal government, so I'm not going to say anything negative about them because we certainly appreciate the funding that we get from them. But we realized that this was not the absolute priority for them in the Build Back Better bill with President Biden. So we haven't heard, it didn't make it in this last iteration, and we've heard very little conversation about it, and our kids can't wait any longer. So we took it upon ourselves to do our own thing here in Clayton County. We're going to build our own early learning centers, and we're going to strategically place them throughout the community. And these are the schools in which they're going to be housed: Lee Street, Lake City, Edmonds, Hendricks Drive, Kemp Primary, and the former Riverdale Elementary School will be a special early learning center. We're going to invest $25 million. Do y'all know where the old Riverdale Elementary School is? It's an eyesore. It's a hotbed for vagrants and crime. And we're going to tear that old stuff down, and we're going to build them this. We're going to build them this, y'all, for our early learning center housed over in the Riverdale community. On the back side, you see 4 pods. Those will be the classrooms, the learning environments. We'll have green space for kids to rip and run and play. I believe in kids getting outside, running around and exercising and staying physically engaged. We're going to have courtyards in between, playgrounds in between for our kids to enjoy. And we're going to have, the unique thing that we're doing with this is we're going to provide wraparound services on site for our young parents. Wraparound services, dental, vision, job placement for young parents. All social services programs that desire to be more meaningful in Clayton County will have a home right here at the Riverdale Early Learning Center. We got the building, we got the facility, we got it for them. We've had conversation with multiple people within the community, and they're excited about bringing their services on campus so we can have a one-stop shop for our young parents to access with great ease and convenience. We'll also, okay, next slide. Our early learning centers will be modernized. Let me just talk a little bit about the difference between a new build and a modernization. So you saw the Morrow High School, brand new on a different site from the ground up. That's a new build. Have you seen Jonesboro High School lately? You think that that's a new build as well. It's not. It's a modernization. Now, over the years, we just haven't been sitting back doing nothing with our facilities. We've been upgrading them and renovating them with new HVAC and new roofs and what I call the guts of a building. So no sense in tearing all that down and starting anew. Let's figure out a way to keep that, build around it. And that's how we got our Jonesboro High School, y'all. For all intended purposes, it looks like a brand new school, and it is. That's a modernization. Morrow High School cost $85 million to build. Reverend Green, Dr. Green's in the back, wonderful community members. Jonesboro High School cost $45 million. So we're trying to be smart about how we spend the taxpayers' money. We want to be more inclusive and have a bigger build out. So instead of everything being spanking brand new from the ground up, let's do and focus more on modernizations so it can have a wider reach, sir. So now let me just talk about elementary buildings and designs. And you heard me talk about them being 70, and those 70-year-old buildings, we mainly put our young kids in. Most of our elementary schools are those 70 and 60-year-old schools. And the designs for the elementary schools here in Clayton and throughout the country for the most part were built on a World War II hospital design. You lean in your buildings, bloom, bloom, room. That's kind of it. We stuck with that design for years, decades. Time to move on, y'all. And guess what? We're moving on in Clayton County. When you pass by one of these early learning centers, and instead of seeing a design similar to an old World War II hospital you will see this beautiful glass architectural stuff that speaks to it being more modern. And that will happen at these 5 locations. And I showed you the design for the Early Learning Center that will have the wraparound services. That's our focus on early learning, y'all. Now, STEM education. We told you that we would be reckless if we didn't properly prepare our kids for a tech world. So we're going to impact our kids throughout the K-12 continuum, but with an uncanny focus on the early grades. So these STEM schools will be built at elementary schools. Now you saw the Michelle Obama STEM Academy. We're going to go from 1 to 5. 1 to 5. And those schools will be the Huey Elementary over in the Forest Park area. This will be designed for their STEM school, $35 million. The new Fountain and Unidos Elementary School, this will be the design for their STEM school over in Forest Park, $35 million. The Morrow Elementary School over in Morrow, this will be the design for their schools, $35 million. And Suter, this will be the design for them over in the Jonesboro area, $35 million. And the Michelle Obama is down in the Lovejoy Panhandle area. So we kind of got them strategically throughout the community. That's STEM elementary schools now. Now, when you pass by those schools, you'll see a swanky building similar to what you see down at the Michelle Obama. Now, let me talk about what we're doing with elementary schools in terms of modernizations. Remember, I mentioned that we're not going to try to build everything new, that we're going to try to do modernization so we can have a wider reach. This is what we're going to do. When you pass by one of them old elementary schools that have that old World War II hospital design, instead of seeing that, this is what you will see when you pass by most of our elementary schools. Now, let me show you which ones we're going to impact. Anderson, Arnold, Brown, Church Street, Haney, Kilpatrick, McGarrah, Mount Zion, Northcutt, Oliver, Point South, Swint, Tara, and West Clay. That's 10 schools, y'all. 12 schools right there. 12 new modernized elementary schools. 5 new STEM elementary schools. 6 new early learning centers. All for our elementary age kids. Now let's move on to middle schools. This is what you will see now when you pass by most of our middle schools, a modernization. We don't have to spend 40 and 50 million like we're doing on Forest Park, even though I'm happy for the Forest Park folks. They deserve that. They've suffered for too long in that old raggedy building. But when you pass by most of our middle schools, you'll see what you've been seeing. Now you'll see this. Isn't that beautiful? Huh? It's beautiful. And these are the schools that we're going to impact. Babb, Point South, Adamson, Riverdale, and Northcutt. Now, we will build a new Mundy's Mill Middle School. It's just, we can't do nothing with it. We just tear that thing down and start anew. So that's what we're going to do. These are the middle schools that we're going to impact. High schools, same thing with high schools. We're going to modernize. We've already modernized Riverdale, and this is what it will look like. This is what it looks like now. Now, you heard me talk about something unique, innovative, special, like the arena and that kind of stuff. We're also on one of our high schools that will be a new high school, North Clayton High School, will have a 9-hole executive golf course for our students. We got 12 golf programs throughout our high schools. Everybody says, well, what Clayton County kids need with a golf course? Why not Clayton County kids? Why not Clayton County kids being the first? Why not Clayton County kids having something unique, something to brag about, something special? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to give them something special. Now, as a result of this venture, so many organizations are looking to partner with Clayton County to ensure that our kids who are interested in participating in golf have a great golfing experience by providing funding. And we just appreciate that. Remember, you build it, they'll come. This is for our kids. Now, you've seen the old North Clayton High School that's about 60 years old. They will go from that to this. This is the new North Clayton High School, y'all. Beautiful design. You see the beautiful golf course in the background. You see the linear with a curvature design. We got an academic wing, and on the right side, we have the athletic complex. We have a gym similar to the one that we built at Morrow, which is state of the art. But does anyone know what that other portion of that building is? Or otherwise, can you tell me what this is? Does anybody know what this is right here? Indoor track, right here in Clayton County. The closest indoor track in the metro Atlanta area, y'all, is Birmingham, Alabama. The folks from Emory, Georgia Tech, Georgia State, various schools, they come right across Clayton County, go to Birmingham. Now they can start right here. They can start right here in Clayton County and have their events. We're going to make a lot of money on that thing, y'all. And what we're going to do is we're going to create funding that pays our coaches the highest supplements in the state of Georgia. That's what we're going to do. We got to turn our athletic programs around. Now, that's North Clayton High School. Let's show them this is Lovejoy. This is the old Lovejoy. Now, Lovejoy is bursting through the seams for the folks who are listening in and saying, what about Lovejoy? Oh, we're bursting through the seams. We're going to build you a modernized, bigger school. Bigger school, starting in May, if the community affirms this in March. A bigger school that holds 2,600 students. And it'll go from what it looks like now to this. This will be the new Lovejoy High School. Beautiful, modernized, wonderful for the people in the Panhandle. So happy for them. Next slide. Mount Zion High School. You know what Mount Zion looks like. It's on a major thoroughway going from Henry to Clayton. The people who pass by it now, they'll see what they see now, and in a short period of time, they'll see this. A modernized Mount Zion High School. We're so happy for those folks over in that community. Next slide. Now, the Rosenwald School, we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about this, but this is very important to the community overall, particularly our older community. A Rosenwald School, I don't know if you know the history of it, but a Rosenwald School that they refer to them as was built by Julius Rosenwald and Booker T. Washington. Julius Rosenwald was the CEO, president CEO for Sears and Roebuck. And of course, Booker T. Washington, president of Tuskegee. They got together and they gap-filled schools for poor, underprivileged African-American students, mostly on the southeastern part of the country, but throughout, to the tune of about 4,700. Well, there's very few Rosenwald schools that are still recognizable. We have one of those few schools that's been recently listed into the National Historical Registry, and this is what it looks like. We're fortunate that we preserved that building, but we're going to invest $2 million into restoring it, and it'll look like this. And now for the community members, we're not just going to make it a museum. I'm an educator, and trust me, this Rosenwald thing is interesting to me. I went to the Georgia Archives not too long ago, and they had a long history about it. It was just fascinating to hear about the ascension of where our students started and where we are now. Phenomenal. But as an educator, I'd probably go to that museum one time, like most folks would do. And you say, cool, I enjoyed that. I got an appreciation for it. So we want to make it more meaningful for the community. So we're going to have a replica of a Rosenwald school. We're going to have a space that is designed for a museum that speaks to the Rosenwald history and the history of Clayton County Public Schools. But in addition to that, to make this building meaningful and useful and viable, is a community center. $5 is what folks will have to pay. Small group folks, homeowners association, retired teachers, retired educators association, any small group within Clayton, you pay $5. You have access to have your meetings in this facility. It will have a community room, a kitchen, conference room, all of that. So folks be able to have small meetings right here in Clayton for our people, y'all. Now, the third focus, athletics. And I'm going to zip through this and wrap this thing up in case you have questions. We're serious about the commitment to athletics. Remember, I told you we're going to ensure our coaches are the highest paid supplement coaches by the funding that we get from the indoor track. We're also going to invest into its physical infrastructure. At every traditional high school, Forest Park, all of them, we're going to invest $75,000 on all brand new dugouts, $50,000 on a new baseball field, $50,000 on a new softball field, $800,000 on a turf practice football field, $200,000 with a rubberized track around it, $50,000 on an irrigation system because we got to make certain that we maintain this stuff for years to come. $350,000 on concession stands with restrooms. Do y'all know that a lot of our outdoor athletic facilities, we bring in porta potties for our families and for visitors? That's embarrassing. That's outrageous. We're going to do something about that. That's a horrible look. So we're going to spend $350,000 building restrooms and concession areas within close proximity of these outdoor athletic facilities. $50,000 on all new scoreboards. This is what really makes your community, your campus beautiful. $100,000 on all new fencing with windscreen that speaks to your mascot, your school name, your school colors. That's what really beautifies a campus. $200,000 on tennis courts at every school. That's traditional. Elite and Stillwell, they got some athletic offerings, but not much. So the focus would be on the traditional schools. Everyone in Clayton County, y'all, not some of them, not a quarter of them, not a half of them, but all of them. All of them. This is what our kids, they will go from the junk that folks been criticizing us about and teasing and laughing and saying to themselves, boy, I feel sorry for them Clayton County kids for that's what they have, folks in our surrounding metro area. You see what they have and what we don't. But y'all, we're going to go from where we are now relative to athletics to this. Look at this stuff. Beautiful gymnasiums, turf fields, locker rooms, weight rooms, all of that right here in Clayton County. Right here. Right here. Reverend Green, if I got a coach out there that's getting paid more than anybody else around the state, and he or she has this at their disposal, guess what I'm expecting out of them? To win. To win. Or at least compete. And by the way, congratulations to our Lovejoy girls basketball team. They emerged to the state finals down in Macon, Georgia at 5:30 this Friday. Let's go out and root for our Lovejoy Wildcats to bring home a state championship once again. Now, we can pay for this, y'all. And I'm going to go through this real quick and I'm going to sit down. We got $120 million left in splost 6, 350 in 7, 350 in 8. We have a balance of about 30 million. We got 35 coming from the state, and the county, as I mentioned about the arena, will invest 10 million for a total of nearly 900 million. And this is what we're going to do with all of that money, y'all. We're going to build a new Forest Park Middle, a convocation center, a North Clayton High School with a golf course, expanded Lovejoy High School, a new modernized Mount Zion, a Riverdale Early Center to the tune of 25 million. We're going to address the historic Rosenwald School. We're going to make a significant investment into our athletics. We're going to invest money into our Performing Arts Center. We're going to do something with the old Marlboro Middle School. And let me just pause 1 second. You'll see Riverdale landscaping, $500,000. Even though we've already addressed Riverdale, but we got them on the list to spend $500,000. I hate when I see a new house and the landscape is bland. So we're going to spend $500,000 on landscaping the new modernized Riverdale. So as people pass by the community, it will just grip you with seeing the new facility, the new athletic stuff, and crepe myrtles and shrubs and flowers and all of that stuff as you pass by. So when we address these schools now, we're going to focus more than just on the physical building. We're going to focus on the landscaping too. We're going to buy 322 new buses. I'm transparent, y'all. We got a fleet that is so old. 90% of our fleet is beyond its useful life. And we patching them up, making them go. Our kids deserve better. They deserve better, y'all. And we're going to get them 322 new buses to go back and forth to schools, field trips, etc., right here in Clayton County. And we're going to invest in technology. We're going to address Fountain as a new STEM school, Huey as a new STEM school, Morrow as a new STEM school, Suter as a new STEM school, a new Munnis Mill Middle, a modernized Babb, Hendricks Drive, Edmonds, Kemp, Lake City, Lee Street, Haney, Arnold, Church Street, Swint, West Clayton, Tara, Point South Middle, Point South Elementary, Adamson Middle, Brown, Kilpatrick, McGarrah, Mount Zion, Northcutt, Oliver, North Clayton Middle, Riverdale Middle, and Anderson Elementary. Y'all, we're getting ready to build a new Clayton County Public School system. That's what we're getting ready to do. And it's high time. It's high time. Our kids and our families deserve this. We got a way to pay for it without imposing any burden on the taxpayers and homeowners. It's a unique, well thought out plan. I ask, I beg, I plead with the people that are listening, live stream, the people that is in this audience, go back and talk with your neighbors. Talk with the people within your community, whether they have children or not. Share with them that we're informing them that we have a great option to do something transformational here in this Clayton County community. All we need is an affirmation on March 21st, allowing for us to get this stuff done for our phenomenal students. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I just want to thank everybody for coming. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come and witness my first town hall meeting. Many more to come. I'll be out there quite a bit over the coming days to make certain I inform as best as I can. I'll be available for any questions or comments that you might want to have with me at this time. Thank y'all.